So you're rolling right along with your career. I can pretty much guarantee you at least 5 things that will kill your career on the spot. Stay tuned and let's talk about it. I'm Adrian from Adrian's Avenue, and I talk about things that are rich, relatable, and relevant that will help you become the leader that others want to follow. Let's jump right in. Now we're going to talk about 5 ways that you can limit your career and actually kill your career if you're not careful. Some of these ways you can recover from, but some of them you can't recover from. So you don't want to get categorized in any of these ways. And the first way that we're going to talk about is always being the negative one. And when I emphasize always, I mean always. If an idea comes out, if a procedure comes out, you're always the one talking against the procedure, talking against the idea, never coming up with solutions or suggestions to help improve the idea, but you're the one who's downplaying the idea, talking bad about it, either in the meeting, and even more so when you leave the meeting, you may discuss it with your peers and try to bring them down, get them on your side, the negative side, how this is not going to work. I've never heard of such a thing. All of these sorts of things is coming out of your mouth. This is not a good thing to do in a meeting or outside of a meeting. Whether you believe in it or not at the very beginning, go ahead and at least listen. Give it a chance. And then go to your boss if you need more help with trying to decide whether or not this is a good idea or not. But let them talk to you about your insecurities about it, or questions that you may have about that procedure. But don't say that it's bad just when it first comes out. Don't downplay it. Don't say that it's not going to work. Get behind the idea, at least accept it, and let's see what's going to happen. Give it a try, because evidently what's going on right now is not working. So this may be the answer to what you need on the team or what you need in the company. But don't always, and I do mean always, be the negative one. There are certain times that we're all going to disagree or not totally agree with something that may come out from the company, but we're not the ones that always disagree. Some of the things that come out, we support them 100%. We're behind them. We can see where the company is going. And normally it's a misunderstanding on your part. If it's something that you're going to say, no, it's not going to work. You probably don't understand everything that they're thinking about or the big picture. So get help with that from either your boss or some peers around you, and maybe you can understand a little bit better. But this is a career killer, is always being the negative one when something comes out. The second way of killing your career with your boss as well as your team is being a bad team player. Your peers want people who know the game, who can play the game well. If you don't want to participate in certain things, if you're somewhat negative about certain things, if you're not pulling your weight on certain things, this is not a good team player. Everyone wants people on the team that's going toward that same goal and that's helping the team win. Bad team players, they don't do this. They don't show up when they need to show up, and they don't help each other. They're not supportive of each other. This is not a good team player. You don't want to be labeled as being that bad team player. No one wants you on their team. When projects come up, you can believe that they're hoping that they don't put her on my team or they don't put him on my team, because I know he's not going to do his job. He's not going to pull his weight. You don't want this label. So make sure you're not that bad team player, because it is a career killer. Now, this third way is very serious, and it's not only a career killer, this may be a job ender, and that's being insubordinate to your boss. If your boss tells you to do something, you need to get right on it and do it right away. If you don't, sometimes it's subtle. They can tell you to do something and you can say, well, I forgot, or be slowful about doing it and never get around to doing it. And it's not because you don't know how to do it or you don't have the ability to do it. It's because you just don't want to do it. You've made up in your mind, I'm not going to do that. Either I'm too good for it or whatever your reason is, but I'm not going to do that. However, they are paying you to do the job and they've asked you to do something. They're expecting you to do something. And if you're insubordinate, those are usually grounds for immediate termination or dismissal. So be careful with that. It could be a career killer. It could be a job ender. Well, I definitely don't want you to kill your career with me. So hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can remain up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. Now, this fourth one has more to do with you as a person than it does to do with the job that you're working, whatever the company is. And that's having integrity. People need to be able to rely on you, to trust you, not lie about certain things because it may be confidential materials that you're working with. It may be money that you're working around and just people in general, but they need folks that they can trust. And having integrity at any job is to your benefit. If you can't have integrity and people can't trust you, they really don't need you in the job. And that's one way that you can really kill your career. Now, this fifth one is pretty much a no-brainer, but I'll give it to you anyway. And this can actually get you fired on the spot from your job at any company, and that is stealing from the company. Stealing is actually criminal, and that's something that could actually get you locked up if they press charges against you. But stealing from your company is something that you don't want to do. And when I mean stealing, I mean anything from a notepad, a pen, to money. You just don't want to steal from the company. I've seen people get fired over stealing a taco from the cafeteria, which is horrible that they've done that and gone to that certain extent to steal a taco and lose their whole job, their whole career behind something like that. But stealing is not a good idea, whether you're stealing from, it doesn't matter. Stealing is just wrong. And we should know that, and it should go without saying. But some people will try it. Some people, they get around certain things and their hands get a little sticky. If you're like that, I would say leave the job before you get in trouble. You don't want to get into real trouble with this, but that will get you fired pretty much on the spot if you steal from a company. So by all means, that's a career killer. That's a job ender. That's something that you don't want to do. You should not be a thief anyway, but just for the ones that may not know, should I take this? Should I take that? No, it's not worth it. You get a paycheck ever so often, every week, every 2 weeks, once a month. Go buy what you need. That's why you're working, to buy the things that you need. Do not steal from the company. So I've shared with you at least 5 things can either end your career or kill your career. So you want to stay away from those 5 things and do the opposite of those things. Be a person of integrity. Be a good team player. Don't be negative. Be positive and flourish in your career.